everybody. Welcome to Dirty Thursday, brought to you by River City Speedway. Today, it's almost like a Queen song. We are the champions. We have got the 8H of Jade Hastings in today. Of course, NOSA Outlaw Sprint Car pilot and champion. Also, welcome to the studio, our guest host, Stephen Young. He's back. And also want to give out a shout out to our sponsor, one of our sponsors today, Meyer Christensen and Vetter. You hear politicians making promises all the time. Where are those politicians when those promises are not kept? You know, if you want promises made and promises kept, vote Meyer Christensen and Vetter for District 18 this November. They'll fight to keep taxes low and affordable. They'll fight to protect and expand property rights for homeowners. They'll fight for property tax reform. They'll fight for Grand Forks. Meyer, Christensen, and Vetter. Check out their past records in Bismarck. It's a no-brainer. North Dakota work ethic with Grand Forks values. This November 5th, vote Meyer, Christensen, and Vetter. Promises made, promises kept. Paid for by District 18 Republicans, Tammy Barth, Treasurer. Alrighty, welcome back to the studio, everybody. Again, my name is John Roberts. Our guest host today, Stephen Young, and of course, we have got Dale, the producer, running the show today. And on the show, the 8H sprint car driver, Jade Hastings. Let's get it out of the way. Oh, by the way, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to text or call our number here, 701-213-0863, 701-213-0863. Guessing we'll have a couple of less texts today, but that's for a different show. Here, let's get it out of the way. Jokes my neighbor tells me. Here we go. Jokes my neighbor tells me. So I was having a conversation with my wife. I don't know how she gets brought up in these jokes anymore, but so I'm talking to my wife, and I said, you know, giving birth isn't as painful as being kicked in the nuts. And she said, have you ever had a baby? And I'm like, no, but over the years you hear women say, let's have another one. Have you ever heard a man say, kick me in the nuts again?
Good one.
Okay, let's do it quickly here. An FKA Forks Karting Association update. Normally we would do track schedules, but since all the tracks are done, let's do a quick update with Dale here. Dale, I know they had their awards banquet and all that stuff last Saturday. How'd that go?
Yeah, it was great. A big thanks to all the FKA go-kart fans, drivers, crew, staff, officials on an awesome 2024 season. They put a bow on the weekend, on the season last weekend at the banquet. I got a chance to interview several of the drivers, a lot for the first time all season. First-time feature winners and some other drivers. You can find it on the Forks Karting Facebook and YouTube pages. And don't forget, a lot of Forks Karting officials, crew members, drivers are selling raffle tickets for the big next raffle drawing, which will be happening on the November 21st episode of Dirty Thursday. And keep up with all the FKA off-season updates by going to the Forks Karting Facebook page.
All right, thank you very much, Dale. And let's see else. Well, last week, we said goodbye to one half of the Bullring Boys, Chad Hoff. It was, blubbering mess for a couple of days, whether it be here or whether it be at the racetrack or whether it didn't matter where it was. When we ran into the guy, it was tears shed. We're going to miss him. But again, we are looking for somebody to take over for Chad. Feel free to PM me. All right. I might even ask you for a little bit of a tape, or I might just sit down and have a beer with you or whatever. But we're looking for a new Bullring Boy. I don't know if it'll be called the Bullring Boys anymore. We'll let the Speedway decide that. But again, get a hold of us, and we will work out with you, okay, and find out what's going to happen. I want to run it over to Stephen here. Stephen Lewis back in the studio. And again, welcome, buddy.
Hey, how's it going?
Love having you as a guest host. I think we're going to be seeing more and more of you in here now. I hope. I know I'm going to be gone probably for the next week, but anyway, you had a little different role the other night. You actually raced with the Western Renegade wingless sprint cars, I believe, but yep. The wingless sprint cars, how was that? Because you ran the mechanics race the week before, and next thing you know, you're racing.
Totally different. The mechanics thing kind of came up late or whatever, and then, the way the whole summer went, it kind of went late. That one Knoxville week, Donnie asked me to pack the track in here pretty soon. People are just giving me vehicles, whether they're race cars or not or whatever. But I think it, for me, I think it went really well as far as the on track. Just trying to take what everyone gave me, advice wise and whatever, and try and come up with a game plan and that kind of thing, and just go from there, stay out of trouble, and I think it went pretty well. So
Will we see Stephen Young in a sprint car again?
we'll have to see. We got a lot of long time to think about it.
All right. Now,
so.
if you were to do this on a regular basis, would you keep the same number on the car?
I mean, that's one of those things I haven't even thought about yet. It honestly could never like really be full time because
Sure,
I still need
you
to
work.
shoot
Yep.
and whatnot. But I wouldn't rule out doing it every once in a while if that was a possibility. So.
Well, you did well. You did what a new guy should do. You held your line. You didn't mess anybody up. You stayed out of trouble, and you were getting faster and faster all the time.
I will say one of my favorite stories that I heard about it afterwards. I think Amanda told me that all of you guys dropped what you were doing and you were all up on the flatbed together watching it. And it's like that's so rare to get all of you guys in the same place at the same time. I was like, that's what it was gonna take. Like, it should have done that years ago. Then
Got goosebumps.
So,
just thinking
I know.
Yeah.
I'm just like, please don't wreck. Don't wreck. I would imagine your old man was just ear to ear grin.
I think he was pretty happy about it. That was one of the things I was most not concerned about, but like I didn't. Nick was the first one to say hi this morning or whatever, but my first thoughts, I was like, as long as Steve, Josie, and Nick don't have to come pick me up and drag me back out there, so.
You know Anita Hoff?
No, I wouldn't say I know her, but
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
I've met her a few times.
Okay, okay. All right. Nick Curtis, I think Stephen Lewis did a good Friday night. Did Good Friday night. It was fun to watch. And hi, by the way, Anita. Hello.
Hi, Anita.
Yeah. And she didn't even say hi to me. Anyway, I wanted to let you guys know. See, I'm wearing Donnie Schatz Racing shirt today. And if you would like to see your shirt featured on Dirty Thursday, come on over to the studio, XL, and it would be just perfect for me. Had one of yours Friday night. I should have stashed it in my car, and we gave it away to a fan because that's what we're supposed to do, but thought about it. Jade Hastings, everybody, he's back. Wow.
Listen to that ovation.
Three time. I'm going to start calling him 3 time.
3-time, the 3-timer. And when you're talking about that, we're talking about NOSA champion 2020, 2023, and 2024. Dude, back-to-back NOSA titles, and you're sitting here like it's no big deal. How do you feel?
Pretty normal, I guess. It's cool, I guess. I don't know if it's really set in. The way the end of the season went, it kind of seemed like nothing good was happening. So to get the championship there at the end was just kind of weird. It just didn't feel like we won much, even though we had a very good season.
Sure.
But you know how it is. The way you end the season is kind of just how you feel at the end of the season.
And this is what I was going to say about what I know about you. Okay, 4 wins in a year is pretty damn good in anybody's book. Not good enough for the 8H team, though, was it? And I could feel that vibe. It's like, yeah, we had a great year, but gosh, I just think it could have been a little better.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it could have been a little better. I'm not displeased, I guess. I think we had a great year, and I think it was the fastest we've ever been. But I think we can be faster. I don't know. It's just tough. I think there's a couple races we could have won that we didn't. So obviously you look back at those and you remember those more than the nights you won for some reason. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just excited for next year. I know we're fast, and I have confidence in myself more so than I ever have. So
are you finding now that more so than ever before, also other guys are getting faster? I mean, these guys that have been, a couple of years into it now, they're all figuring out how to get faster and faster. Everybody's getting faster, but it's getting harder and harder to get wins too, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I mean, Mark obviously is a rocket ship, so you're kind of almost racing for second a lot of the time. I mean, you can get close, but he's such a veteran. He knows how to not leave the door open. And he knows how to take advantage of you right away if you do. So obviously you're going to get beat by guys like that. But yeah, I've been around the track long enough to kind of see the phases of drivers come through.
Sure.
And we're in a new phase right now.
Exactly.
It was Casey Mack and Austin Pierce and Chris Ranton. And then me and Brendan Mullen and Nick Ranton and Jack Croker. And now you're getting Andy Pake and the Eisenshanks and Gage Polkerbeck's fast some nights.
Absolutely.
If we can
get
get
the kid out of Warren, Weston Olson, he's getting up there.
Yeah, he's He's a wild man, that's
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
He drives the balls out of it. We just need a couple more. We need a couple more Eisen Shanks and Andy Pakes to come out of the woods here, and
Yeah.
then we'll be right there. I think NOSA's. We kind of had a couple down years, but now with the drivers we're picking up, it looks like we have a bright future. We just need a couple more, and we'll be where we were back in
Sure.
the 2015 area.
You know, and anybody out there listening that is thinking about getting into racing sprint cars that hasn't yet, what you do if somebody has got some stuff for sale, don't ask them how much for all of it. Because we lose too many drivers that way. I mean, you know, that's what happened to Austin. You know, he was going to just thin out the supply a little bit. And the guy says, well, what do you take for all of it? Throws a number out there. Next thing you know, Austin's driving somebody else's car because he doesn't own anything anymore. But yeah, I always hate it when somebody retires or stops or quits. You always think that they're too young. I mean, a great example, Casey Mack. You know, I thought, jeepers, he hadn't even been married yet, no kids or anything, and he's been doing it forever and decided, okay, I've had enough. Well, now he's raising a family and everything. But, you know, does it bother you when these guys just retire? Because you always hear them, man, you know, I wish I could just go to the lake on the weekends and things like that. And I'm like, God, but racing, man, come on.
The only thing that bothers me about it, would personally bother me about it, is you don't see them as much anymore.
Right.
But then on the other side of it, when you're kind of like the behind the scenes or whatever, it almost feels like you're the general manager of a sports team or whatever. It's
Sure.
just like,
Yeah.
so you lose a free agent, and then pretty soon you got to go through the draft and, you know, rebuild your roster and
Yeah,
whatever. And
that's a good way of putting it.
I
Yeah.
feel like with NOSA, we've been through, you know,
We've had a couple rebuild years.
I feel like we've
Absolutely.
been right on the verge of being in the playoffs, and
Sure.
then we'll lose a
Sure.
bunch of folks, and then it's time to rebuild again. We haven't really had that nice period where we've had everyone and
Yep.
at the same time.
Well,
so.
I will be looking face to face with Casey quite a bit here coming up because he's in the tractor that I'm usually loading. So we just kind of look at each other a bunch of times. Nick Curtis says, hey, you're learning about that also, Jade. You'll be finding out. We're going to talk about that later. David Adams, hi, guys. Hey, guys. Brandon Anderson, thank you, everybody, for watching. Nick Curtis, I think Stephen Lewis did a good job Friday night. It was fun to watch. All right. Let's throw, what do you got for pictures up there, Dale?
Yeah, I have a quick question before we go to those pictures. It's kind of bouncing off what you guys are saying. Just from all your perspectives, I'm curious, what's an ideal minimum car count for you for a NOSA night?
Should we say it on 3 and see if we're close to each other?
That's okay. That's
Okay.
3, 2, 1, 15.
24.
Okay.
What'd you say, 24?
Yeah.
You said 15?
I'm right around 15 or 16.
I'm spoiled though. My rookie year, we averaged 27 cars
Yeah.
the first year I raced. So that was my first view of sprint car racing, and that's how I think it should be, is a full field.
Sure. I like 3 heats, but then they have to run a B main then if they have 3 heats. I'm just
depending
not a
on
big
the
fan
track.
of B mains because of the length of the show.
Depending on the track and depending on the night, sometimes they'll be able to pay. They don't want to go through that B main scenario, so they'll just pay we'll 20. We'll just pay 25th, 26th, just run
Sure.
them all. Depending on track surface time.
And if the track wants to pay out, usually it's more expensive to pay out 26 starters in the A
Right.
main than
Right,
to pay
right.
the 2 guys to be in the B.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah,
That's another $600 they got to pay.
Yeah,
So you got to
right,
factor
right.
that, and some will, some won't, and you can't really fault a place that doesn't want to.
Sure,
you know.
sure.
So
By the way, I forgot to mention this too. While a lot of people weren't thinking about racing anymore on Saturday, we were back at River City Speedway. Scott and Diane got married. That was pretty cool. Scott Iverson, head of the concessions. What a great wedding, too. Right down on the stage at the racetrack. And then we went into one of the 4-H buildings, and they had a great setup, great food, open bar. I mean, it was just what a great day. And it was fun to help them celebrate. Bryce is watching, by the way. Hey, yo, good morning. Good morning, Bryce. All right, let's take a look at some pics here, and we can talk about these. Talk about this, Jade. This was so freaking cool.
Yeah, this was awesome. That night couldn't have worked out any better. Obviously, 2 or 3 weeks before that, I lost my good friend. We all lost our good friend, Jeff Liebrick. That 94, Jeff owned a sprint car back in the late 90s and early 2000s. And that wing, I think, was their original sprint car. First or second design they had anyway in the late 90s. So Mike Johnson was the driver.
Yep.
Jeff owned the car. And this night, like I said, Jeff had just passed, and this night was his driver, Mike Johnson's Hall of Fame induction
Yes.
ceremony. And yeah, I just got luckier than hell and was able to win that night, and it didn't pay any more than any other race, and I didn't beat anyone different than I beat before, but it's by far the most special.
I mean, you can just blink your eye and see the 94 on the red McDonald's car like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
You know? And I felt bad for Mike. Like you said, we're all friends with Jeff Liebrick, but I really felt bad for Mike that Jeff wasn't there for the Hall of Fame induction because Jeff is in the Hall. Jeff deserved to be there to see Mike get inducted, and you know,
It's
made it even more
heartbreaking,
bittersweet.
yeah.
Oh, it is.
They were brothers, and I'm sure it was really cool. I know it was cool for Jeff to get inducted, but he didn't really care about that. He just wanted Mike to get inducted.
You're
I mean,
right.
That was like his brother, his best friend, whatever way you can love someone, that's how he loved Mike. So, and Mike back to Jeff. So yeah, it was kind of a heartbreaking night, very bittersweet night in that sense. Sure. Yeah, a lot of heavy hearts on the 94 team that night for sure.
It wasn't just that, but you know, Mike and Jeff grew up with Bruce Hart too.
yeah.
Yeah, lost him.
So-
See those three
you
dudes
know.
running around together as kids in junior high school? I bet you that was a talk about a shit show. Those guys running around a small town like that. This is a pretty cool. It's kind of in a nutshell right there.
Yeah, props to
that
Duso
pics.
for getting that picture. I didn't know anyone had gotten that.
I don't want to be that guy, but that's actually mine.
Oh, is
Oh, is
it?
it?
Really? Oh, shit.
All right.
Sorry.
Thanks to
Duso
Steven.
anyway for taking pictures, but thank you extra Steven for getting that picture.
Oh, is that Chad in the background too? Look at that. Now, did you? I mean, wings aren't free; they cost money. But were you able to take Can you take a panel off of that and hang it in the shop, or can you take the
Yeah.
wing? Or I mean, like I said, I know they're not cheap. You can't just hang up a wing because it's a throwback. But what do you do with something like that if you want to try to remember it?
That wing was beat up coming into the season, so our plan was to hopefully have it be the first one we wrecked.
Okay.
And then this opportunity came up to design a wing, so we used that one and decided that it would be decommissioned after that race. So
Sure. So that one's.
I still got to take it apart. I haven't had time to because we've been racing, but
Yep.
Steven's getting a sideboard, and the other one will probably go in my shop.
Awesome. That is awesome. What else we got, Dale? Anything else?
Just those two, and I just want to say, Jade, that was probably like one of the most standout victory lane moments this year. That photo and the one on the cover, the follow of the NOSA magazine for it.
Yeah.
I used it for the promo for her. Just I thought put a great snapshot of that moment for you.
I
So.
texted Steven that night. I told him I think that's my iconic moment. I felt iconic there. Just winning in front of all my family
Sure.
in the 94 team. It's just obviously a lot more people than them there, but just that was for me.
Well, it was just
Perfect.
like, you know,
Yeah.
what was that win for you? 25, 26, something like that or whatever. It's
something
just
in
like,
there, yeah.
and like you said, you've beaten these guys before at this track or whatever, but just being part of that and laying the vinyl for it and drawing the number and whatever, it was just having the whole crew there and just what it meant to everyone that night.
Yeah,
you
just
know,
what it meant to everyone is what made it so special. I didn't realize how big of an impact it was going to have.
like that Thursday night when we were laying that stuff or whatever, it was just like we were talking about it. We were just like,
Yeah.
no way, you know, and then
Oh.
it goes and it happens, right? But
Yeah, and you forget how many people are 94 fans, and you just that's the last thing I was thinking about. And I was like, this would be cool for Jeff. And then when I went up there for the Hall of Fame induction and seeing all the 94 shirts, I was like, wow, this would be really cool if I could pull this off.
Corey Palm says that was a great tribute. Brandon Anderson, that was beautiful. Travis Strandell, congrats to Jade and his crew in a heck of a season. Boy, he wadded up a car pretty good.
Yeah, poor guy.
Man, I know. And I didn't see it. I just saw it right when it was ending. I was so glad to see him get out. And then his posts, you don't ever hear him post anything bad, you know? And yeah, I felt bad for the guy. You know, the only thing, if there's good that came out of it, it was the end of the year.
I'm happy I don't have Facebook anymore. I don't even know what he posted.
Oh, is that right? Oh, you're not on Facebook anymore?
Just have the racing page, which Bryce controls.
Oh, sure,
So,
sure. Is that a good call? Was that your call or what?
yeah, that was my call. It's something I wanted to do for a long time, but Facebook was my way of connecting with all my family that doesn't live here.
Sure,
you know,
sure,
seeing
and
the
then- yep.
pictures and but yeah, it's probably good for me and probably good for the racetrack and good for everyone. So,
You just get a little excited
yeah,
sometimes.
I'm not scared to say how it is. I still
Right.
have a lot of
No.
shit to say.
Yeah,
but-
exactly. Right.
won't.
One thing I am going to say, probably, Steven, I'm guessing both of you guys will agree with me, probably the most emotional year I've ever had at a racetrack. I mean, it's just crazy. You know, all of our good friends that have passed away. Chad now leaving. It's been a really kind of a weird year.
I don't know that there were. We ran 22 times. Would you say maybe 11 of them we had to do like a missing man or a silence at the beginning or read something or
either you or Amanda Joe or somebody was writing tributes for me almost every night, it seemed like. Post wasn't bad. Car is fixable. We'll be back. All right, Travis. That's good because it looked bad, but it was hard to see because of the wall there from where we're at. But it just seemed like, gosh, you know, and the people writing for me, I'm glad I don't pre-read it because I don't know if I'd get through it. You know what I mean? But when it almost brings me to tears, or it did, it's tough to do, and I'm sick of it. So hopefully we're done with all that stuff for a while. I know they had finally had the auction for Liebrick this past weekend, and of course Scott does a great job over there.
I heard that went awesome too.
Yeah,
I saw some pictures and it was a good turnout, so that's good.
Good. I'm trying to think when we should take a break here. Why don't we do that now? Let's take a little bit of a break. Man, I tell you what, we got a lot to talk about from this year. We've got the champion with us, the 8H of Jade Hastings, along with guest host Stephen Young. I tell you what, let's take a little break. We'll be right back on Dirty Thursday after this. Life doesn't ever seem to slow down. Everything needs to be done right now. Well, when it comes time for an oil change, stop into Valvoline Instant Oil Change. You know, most changes are done in about 15 minutes. Valvoline Instant Oil Change does more too. Tranny and coolant flushes, tire rotations, and batteries. And included in your oil change, they're going to top off your fluids, check your tires, battery, lights, wipers, and cabin air filter too. And you get discounts for fleets and the military. You know, they can text and email invoices and coupons and mention Grand Forks Best Source and get $10 off your oil change. Valvoline Instant Oil Change. They're open Monday through Saturday with no appointment needed. Pickup and delivery is also available if you live in Grand Forks. And Valvoline Instant Oil Change is now hiring. If you'd like to join their team as an assistant manager, customer service rep, or lube tech, stop in to find out more. Valvoline Instant Oil Change for a complete oil change and more. They're at 3325 South 38th Street, or call them 701-780-8462. And make sure you tell them Grand Forks Best Source sent you. All right, back on a Dirty Thursday, brought to you by River City Speedway. Guest host Stephen Young in the studio, as we have got the driver of the Buffalo Wild Wings NOSA Outlaw Sprint Car, the 8H of Jade Hastings. Boy, I tell you what, I'm just going to go through a couple of things here. Correct me if I'm wrong, Stephen, because you'll be able to do that if I'm wrong. Wayne Anderson Cup champion, River City Speedway track champion for the first time ever for you, which has got to feel pretty damn good. And you also are the NOSA champion this year, which you were last year and which you were in 2020. So you're Wayne Anderson Cup champ, River City Speedway track champion, and the NOSA champion this year. And you're still not as thrilled as you should be. Okay, I'm not done yet. Let's see here. Let's see. I looked it up, and this is where maybe I might be wrong. 28 NOSA wins in his career at River Cities, or is that total?
Total.
Okay, so that is, depending on how you look at it, it's either tied for 5th or 6th most ever wins for NOSA, which is pretty dang good.
Just broke a tie with Bobby Martin and then Brad Pake.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Let's see. This year,
That don't make you feel good.
That
though.
one makes me feel good.
I bet.
The Brad Pake especially, he was, I mean, I was a Dobmeyer fan through and through, but I remember watching the end of Brad's career, and he was wild.
You know, I'm a Brad Pig fan because he drove the Articat car.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
And you know me and my ditch pickle. And
I need to get an Articat sponsor.
It's so funny because when you look at Andy looks like Brad did when he was that age.
Yeah,
Brad don't look nothing like that anymore. No more blonde curly hair or anything like that. But Brad Pake, I mean, whether it be in a lightning sprint, a sprint car, or snowmobiles. I mean, that
modified even when he started.
Yeah, that's right. That dude, he was fast no matter what he drove. 22 features this year, 4 wins, all at River City Speedway, 15 top 5s, 19 top 10s. Yeah, that's not a bad year.
There's one thing I want to throw in.
Okay.
This was also the what's the sponsor? This was the Houston Speedway point leader going into through Labor Day even.
Okay.
And we had a little bit of a
Yeah, just
accident and it went away. But there was his face right there on Dirt Vision as the point leader with Caleb Johnson. So
that was cool. That's what I want. That would make me happy. A Houston's Points Championship. That'd be enough to be. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't quit racing, but if my career ended after that, I feel like I'd be fine.
You know, when we talked to you, Jade, you mentioned, like Dobmeyer and stuff like that. It'd be something like you'd be in that same sentence. Is that kind of what you mean? Like, these up-and-comers going, I'd like to be like the Dobmeyers and I'd like to be like the Hastings and those guys. Is that what you think you're going to need to get up to where you might be in a conversation like that? You know what I mean?
I guess I don't think it would take a lot to get into that kind of conversation, I think. Maybe an outlaw win or two, but the Houston's Championship would be more for me.
Sure.
I think that's the second hardest championship to win in the Midwest, and when you go there, you're racing against 5X outlaws every week.
Oh, yeah.
And after this season, I never really had the confidence or thought I could really compete with those guys until this year when we had good stuff and a good race car, and I realized I could, and now that's what I want to do. It's really bad. It's just first win a race at Houston, but win a points championship someday.
You were talking about the wreck.
Well, before we get to the wreck, though, how about that podium?
That was fun.
So he starts front row and ends up on the front stretch with those guys, too, with a third place finish.
The week before that was better. The finish not, but I started, I think, 7th the week before and drove it up to 2nd, and I had the car to beat. And then I think I got chopped, and it broke my momentum. I ended up 5th. But that week we were so fast, and that was the first race of the year there, and that's when I knew. I was like, oh, man, we might have something. And go back the next week and get a podium right away. I was like, oh, okay. I can race with these guys. That's just cool. Yeah.
How many times does it take to go with these guys before you get that confidence? I mean, because we've all seen it before. If you've got a hammer down one-lane track and you get in the front, it's a lot easier to win a race. But guys that know better know that's not going to define me. That doesn't mean I'm necessarily that fast. But what does it take when that bell goes off and the light bulb goes on and you go, man, I can run with these guys?
Well, when you put a whole night together at Husitz, if you can do that one time, you are pretty dang close. If you can qualify in the top 5, at least. If you're qualifying in the top 3, you're already set for the night and you know you're fast. But qualify good and then make it through your heat race. That's all you got to do. But if you can start up front in a feature and stay up front, especially in lap traffic there, if you can do that once, you can do it anytime. The next big trick, though, is having a good race car. A lot of guys like me and like a lot of the people around here, I'd say, except for Mark, we haven't been in the sport that long. We don't have all the connections.
Right.
We don't have all the money. So we're not going to have the best engines. We're not going to get great setup packages from our people that are helping us out, our shop builders or whatever. We don't know a bunch of old crew chiefs to go call when we're having trouble. So it makes the learning curve a lot slower for a lot of drivers. But if you can, that's the thing. You never think you can do it until you get good equipment. I'd tell anyone that's listening who has a sprint car and is wondering why they're not fast, you're going to have to buck up and buy some horsepower because that'll change your life. I'm dead serious. It makes the car stop feeling like it's trying to kill you every lap.
Yeah.
You have power to just drive out of things.
Like it's got a brain.
Yeah. The faster these cars go, the smoother and the lower they get to the track. And yeah, I mean, more horsepower, the better. Let it go faster. Any track, I don't care where it is, except for maybe Glendon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do the wins get easier after the first one?
Yes. They're still super hard, but once you win the first one, which usually you have to lose 2 or 3.
Sure.
First, once you win the first one, though, then you probably won't be losing many. If you are in that, you're not going to mess up.
Because
anymore.
How many times, and I've seen this in the history, we talk about the up and comers and how many years you have into it, and you see these guys from the start and how they morph into what they are, but guys that get so close, and there's a few of them out there that are so close, and something would happen where you lose it. And you see him get mad, and it's like, I'm going to quit, screw this, I'm going to go buy a boat, and I'm going fishing, whatever. And you try to tell him, hey, wait, man, I've seen this a million times. You're getting close. It's going to come. And when it does, it's going to get easier.
Yep.
And we've all seen this a million times.
And I think for you lost for 3 years, and then it took you 6 days to go from number 1 to number 2.
Yeah,
you
that's
won
what I
at
was
Greenbush and then came and won at home.
Brendan Mullen too, when he won his first one, I think he won 2 in a row. And a lot
6
of
days too.
A lot of drivers take some years to win their first one, but once they get the first one, they usually win a second one shortly after.
Sure. I just want to answer a couple of texts here. Super crazy year to think of all the amazing people that are lost. Unbelievable the amount of information that Steven has upstairs in his head. Amanda Joe replied saying it's really full of witty jokes and one-liners. Scott Iverson, we mentioned you earlier. Good morning, guys, and Jesus. There we go. Okay, the wreck. Talk about the wreck you guys were mentioning here.
$5 Hyman snapped and destroyed about $30,000 of equipment, but I was leading the heat, or not leading the heat race. Sorry, I was in the heat race going into turn 1, and
I think you were second.
I was running 4th that night.
Okay.
I qualified, I think 3rd. So as long as I finished 4th or 5th, I was pretty much going to be in the redraw. But just running around there, not trying to do anything stupid, and going into turn 1, a steering component broke and sent me straight into the wall, which scattered my brains for a month and a half, and destroyed all of our nicest equipment. So that was tough, but also a good learning curve. Every time you wreck, you learn, and this time we learned that if we want to be serious at Hustits, we're going to need double of everything, because you're going to destroy a car there.
Did you end up with a concussion?
Yeah, and I just want to tell anyone that's listening, I never had a concussion before, and take it very seriously, because I did not, and I think it really lengthened the process of my recovery.
I mean, you did and you didn't, though. You did. You guys had the car ready to go for the Outlaw show, and you're just like, no.
I took a race off because I don't think I could have drove.
Right.
It would have been very dangerous for me to do. But I was just trying to do too much. I didn't understand that I needed to be locked away in a dark room. So
You're not indestructible.
Yeah, I was trying to go to work, and that didn't work. Couldn't work. Everything was too bright and loud. It hurt. It hurt to listen to people talk. So then I was going to the race shop and working there with the lights off, and just stuff like that I shouldn't have been doing. Like, I was just wearing myself out, and
not letting yourself heal. Rhonda Phelps Anderson says that accident really scared me watching from home. The nurse in me was scared for a while after the accident. I've had a couple of concussions. He probably explains a lot, but concussion treatments, all that stuff have changed so much. Back in the day, didn't matter. You would have put the helmet on and the fire suit, and you would have got back in the car again. And it affects you. If you would have banged your head again during that recovery, it would have made things way, way, way worse. And I mean, let's think about this now. You're still young. You're getting married here soon, and we're going to talk about that. But we're glad you're okay. People, what would you say to people if you bang your head and you think you got a concussion? What do you tell them?
Just take it seriously. I don't know, think about it. Maybe do some research if you have to. Everyone's concussion that I've talked to, everyone seems to have different, I don't know, everyone's different.
Yep.
Some people.
Different symptoms, different all that.
And just people see things differently or whatever, I don't know. But just take it seriously. If you have a headache the next day, you probably have a concussion. So take it serious. If light's bothering you, you got a concussion. And when I got mine, I didn't notice it for 24 hours.
Did other people notice it though?
There were signs, I guess. I could talk fine, but some of my speech was a little slurred, and there was a lightning storm on the way home from Hustits that night, and the lightning was super bright for me and not for everyone else. So there was signs.
Yeah, right.
But I didn't think I was concussed, really. I felt fine. Adrenaline's pumping, of course, for about 4 hours after the race, but
I never gave it a second thought watching it on Dirt Vision because his interview looked fine or whatever. But the only other thing that I thought about, and one last nerd stat, I think that was only the second time you've been upside down ever, too.
Third.
So third, yeah. So what
I know guys
how
that do that in 3 weeks.
Right. So how do I phrase the question? Was it didn't really have anything to do with the accident or whatever, but was it just like it was the worst one of the three though,
Oh,
right?
by far.
So like
Yeah, that one was vicious. I want to explain that because it was wild. Everyone make sure you wear the correct neck restraint. I'm going to be buying a new one because mine was too loose, and it felt like my head was going to fly off my body. Like, my body was cinched in there good, but when I hit the wall, my head kept going, and it hit the steering wheel, and then you climb the wall, and my face is in the steering wheel. Well, then I landed back down on the tail tank and smacked my head on the back of the seat. But none of that would have happened. I probably would have been fine if my neck restraint was tighter. I wouldn't have got the whiplash, and I wouldn't have fell back so far. And make sure your stuff's good, but at the same time, sometimes you have to wreck really hard.
Yeah,
figure out
you take it for granted.
What's not good.
You know, I mean, you can
I
say
think
like,
that was maybe my question. I was like, was there things that you maybe learned from that just because you haven't been upside down all that much?
Every time
So,
we've ever wrecked, we've added
Yeah.
at least one safety component because you hurt something new. You're like, well, I've never hurt my knees
Sure,
before,
sure.
or
Yeah.
my shoulders, or
and
whatever.
you talk about maybe next time I'll make sure my neck restraint's tight. When I say take things for granted, he's like, well, I got the neck restraint on. You know, it's never had to, it's never had to use it yet. It's never really done anything for me until the one time when it happens and you find out it's not tight enough and that happens. But your worst wreck by far, would you call that the worst night you've had in a race car in your career?
No.
Okay.
Most expensive probably, but I've had some pretty heartbreaking nights.
Okay. Would you call that the worst of this year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to say yeah, but yeah, it kind of ruined our summer a little bit, or just ruined our
Okay.
confidence.
Is there something that is like really close with it that's running neck and neck here? Because you hesitated a little bit.
Felt like I was gonna get close to lapping the field on like August 28th or something.
Okay. Yeah.
And I drove. That was the best drive I'd had all summer, and an oil line came off,
Okay.
which I had to pull it in, or it would have been.
You were freaking fast that night, and I had actually thought you blew up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh no, this could really have an effect on their year if he just smoked that motor, because it was just a puff of smoke and you went off.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, then again, I started thinking to myself, okay, if he would have blown it up, I don't think he would have pulled right off like that, because I think he would have just said, screw it.
I was hoping that he'd caught it in time.
Right.
Kind
What
of thing.
happened was right before a yellow flag there, the oil line came off, so I saw a bunch of smoke. But I still had oil pressure, so I went another half lap, then the yellow came out. And during the yellow, I was idling around, and the oil pressure was a little lower than normal. But I knew what was going to happen when we went green. But we went green, and it made it a lap with oil pressure, and then it just slowly
started dropping.
Yeah.
And so you caught it before any damage was done.
Yeah, we still sent. We took the bottom end apart and put new bearings in the engine. Just because.
And again, how expensive was the part that failed on that when you lost your oil line?
It just didn't get tightened. It's one of those things. Our engines have always come back race ready, and we should still know better to recheck everything, And that's sometimes you learn the hard way. No matter what you think, just recheck everything.
Okay,
It was.
I want you to take over for a second here.
Okay, yeah, it was one of those things that when you're down there shooting pictures or whatever, I'm watching you in that lap before the yellow. I saw it for the first time, and I think I told you afterwards. It was like, I wish there was some kind of, for that situation, some kind of a hand signal. I could be like look at your gauge, or look down, or look kind of thing, and then sure enough, you got back on it on that restart, and
Luckily,
it happened. So
luckily, we didn't start with all the funds. We had one engine and a bunch of old equipment back in the day, so I learned how to drive always looking at the gauges, and that's sucks, but at the same time, it's saved us a lot of money. Just a lot of drivers never look at their gauges because the engine goes in, engine comes out. So whatever, checkbook takes care of it. But
that was the weirdest thing on Friday, not to bring it back to me or whatever, but they kept asking things about gauges and stuff about when I ran or whatever. It's, don't worry about the gauges, just run your own race. I was like, okay.
Is it hard to read the gauges when you're flying like that?
not anymore, no.
Once you get used to it, kind of the muscle memory of where everything exactly is.
Especially in Grand Forks, I've raced there so many times. I know when to turn. I know how much time I have.
It's there. It's in your brain. What I'm trying to do, and thank you, I'm actually going back and forth with your fiance here. We're trying to whip up a video of the wreck at Hastings. Did it come to you, Dale?
Yep,
Okay, so just let me know. Want a couple of texts I want to answer again. The Canadians, Daryl, good morning, John, guests, and all. Great racing season. Congrats to Jade and the crew on the great season. Seeing Jade in the pits after the IRA versus NOSA race. Go check up on that young guy that went off turn 3 into the water barrels. He asked if wall or no wall is better. Thanked him for coming. Classy guy. Great show, boys. Kenna hit the wall and it keeps
That was
changing
that
on me.
orange car that flew off the track.
Yeah,
Yep.
Nathan Julian.
Yeah. I didn't realize how young he was. He's going to be good.
Oh, he's real.
16
Yeah,
only, yeah.
young kid. Kaylee, Kenna hit the wall in Watertown last weekend. She hurt her wrist, palm of her hand. We learned through the GoPro footage that the way her steering wheel was positioned wasn't right. So the lesson was the way the steering wheel is put on and positioned matters too. Jordan Anderson, Jade, I'm proud of 3 champ titles one night. Hell yeah. I think that's what he meant to do there.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Or heck yeah, as producer Dale says. So
Heck yeah. Do you have a best night of this year?
Well, the Jeff Liebrick night, the Mike Johnson night.
Sure.
That one. The podium that Steven brought up earlier at Hastings, that was pretty cool. Just getting to be up there. That was an eye-opener for me. Like I said, that was like, okay, we can do this type of night. But yeah, I'd say the Liebrick one. That's probably the top 3, if not the coolest night of my career.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Do we have it yet, Dale, or not?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. To be honest with you, I have not seen this. So
It looks like slow motion from where she's recording, but
Ready?
it's
That's
also
good.
deceptively ugly too. Like,
Okay.
I estimated we're doing 70 or 80 miles an hour.
oh, wow, that was into the wall. Holy crap.
And the main problem was my Hans. I just wasn't wearing my Hans device correctly. The straps needed to be shortened up
Man.
to prevent the whiplash there.
So do you think you got knocked out?
No,
Because, you never realize it.
I don't think
most
so.
of the
I
time,
saw-
it's like a blink.
I saw really bright,
Thank you, Dale. That was
really,
awesome.
really bright white.
Okay.
2 flashes. I'm assuming the first one was when I hit the wall, and the second one was when I hit the ground again.
Thinking to yourself, it's a come to meet and Stephen Day or what?
That's what I told Bryce. I think I saw the gates to heaven there.
Wow. Wow. We're glad you're all right. And I'm guessing now, is she a worrywart? Or, I mean, she's been around racing long enough.
She worries, but she knows to stay calm. I like her to be calm, especially in a situation like that. So just kind
Well,
of.
around you, somebody needs to be.
Yeah. Just be
And I mean
calm.
that in a good way.
Yeah. I'm all right, I promise. Don't make me the center of attention. Just take
Sure.
a breath.
Sure. Okay. And the thing is too, that one looked pretty gnarly, but a lot of the sprint car wrecks, especially, well, any kind of racing we see, car racing, it seems like it's the wrecks that don't look that bad that the guys get hurt. Dale Earnhardt, that looked like nothing. Even Dobmeyer, when he shattered the back, it was just a typical flip. He landed on all 4, but it's just the ones that don't look that bad. That make it bad. It was so much fun having the family cheer Jade on this year. He's always so great interacting with fans, and especially the kids. He gets it. Thank you, Jade. It's Jared Lundby. He was one of our
Jared.
bus racers, I think, the other night. The Lundby boys were there. And Chad Hoff, of course, won. Wouldn't you know it?
Was that rigged or what?
I'm not gonna say anything. I don't know.
I didn't get to watch it, but yeah, it probably.
He
was.
either had a really, really fast bus or the rest were really slow. But he looked.
Someone's got to have the fast one.
Yeah,
so good for him.
and he just had so much fun. I think I had more fun watching his son, his face, when Chad come out of that bus. I mean, that kid's has got it. He's as proud of his dad as anybody could be, and I thought that was pretty cool. Got any big plans for the winter?
Oh, I'm gonna get married,
No, well, we'll get to there.
and then my plan is to have. I've been telling everyone this. My plan is to get my body right, my mind right, and just have the best off season I've had yet.
Okay. Are you like a gym rat? Do you work out? Do you watch what you eat during the season? Any of that kind of stuff or not?
No, not during the season.
Because you're still young enough that you probably don't have to worry about it that
Yeah.
much.
I don't know if I'll ever have to worry about getting out of shape besides cardio wise.
Yeah.
But usually in the off season I run a lot.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes I lift weights, but I get bored of that after a month or two. Usually, I can run. I like to run. Once the season starts, though, I don't do nothing. There's no time. There's no time
Right.
to eat right. If you're on the road, you're getting McDonald's. After work, I'm going straight to the shop, so I'll probably get some red pepper on the way there.
And people too don't realize you don't sit at a desk all day. You don't have an office job. You're a contractor. You work construction. So I mean, you are on your feet. You're working your butt off 5 days a week. I'm sure minimum.
Yeah, well, I work hard when I'm there, but I will say getting me to work 40 hours is hard, especially during the race season.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure it is. I mean, and obviously you like your job with Alt. Not everybody can just say, hey, I'm going on to sit with Roberts and Steven on Thursday, and they say, go ahead, man. Just don't be too drunk when you come back, But I mean, no. But how important is it to have a boss in a company that you work for that is into this racing? I mean, they're a sponsor in the car. They let you go when you need to go. But how important is that? Because I can remember years ago, Bennett Bulldog, when he was racing, and he was working out at Concrete Inc. when I worked out there, and it was hell to get 10 minutes off at that place. And I know he started splitting time with Mike Dobmeyer, but I can remember how hard it was because they'd never give him, if it was a Friday afternoon and there's nothing going on, they still say, no, you got to stay here. But how important is that to be working for somebody that gets it?
It's super important. Well, first off, I don't know where I would be without Gavin and his family, racing aside. Good friends, and yeah, they just, you shouldn't, even without racing, no one should spend their whole life working. You should be able to kind of do what you want.
Have a little fun now and then.
Yeah, the business, Gavin needs to make money, and if we're not making the money, I'm sure he'll let us know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, for me especially, life's too short. And Gavin knows I'm like that. If I ask for time off and you tell me no, that's fine. But if it keeps happening, I'll probably go find a different job.
Yeah.
It's just,
Sure.
And he understands that's how I am. I don't need to work 40 hours a week. I need to be in the race shop 40 hours a week. That's what I love to do. I don't love to work.
Well, nobody does.
So, and I'm fortunate enough. I have a significant other who splits most of the bills with me, so I don't need to work every day. And I got a good boss who let me leave work. So I truly don't know what I would do without him. And having sponsors like him, getting back to racing, is amazing. I always say him and then Ewing Oil, who is Tyler Meyer. Those two aren't just sponsors; they're friends. And I wish all my sponsors were like that, because it just makes me want to win more. It makes the racing more fun. It makes the shop parties more fun. It makes the late night "why did you suck" text messages more fun. It's cool to just see a guy once a year and collect a check, but it wouldn't hurt my feelings if they didn't come back. I know the money matters, but I'm to the point in my career where the relationships matter more, I guess.
Yeah. It's funny how things change when you get older, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned you're getting married. Bryce Langerud, there she is. How about that? I said this when you guys started getting serious, and don't take this wrong, but it was a very good thing for you.
Yes.
I love her. I think she is so cool. How'd you guys meet? Let's go through the story, because now all of a sudden you're getting married.
We matched on Tinder, and neither of us had the guts to hit the other one up.
Did you really?
No one. We never hit each other up. I saw her like 3 months after we matched on Tinder, and I was with my friend at Joe Black's. I was 21 at the time, and he's like, "Oh my God, there's Bryce Langerud. I got to go talk to her." And I was like, "I'll stay over here." So I just stayed at the table and drank my beer, and he went and talked to her. So that was the first time I'd seen her in person, but I didn't talk to her at all. He came back 10 minutes later, and whatever. And then about 3 months after that, 6 months after the Tinder match, she was at the Grand Forks County Fair at the Johnny Holmes Band, and she added me on Snapchat, took a picture of the racetrack, and snapped me and said, "Oh, I hear you're pretty familiar with this place," or something like that. And I was like, "Yes, yeah, I am." I think my reply was, "Is your dad Lauren Langerud?" Yeah.
She got that a lot that summer.
I bet.
And she said yeah, and then we didn't really talk anymore after that for like a week. And then like a week later, I don't know if I reached out or she did. I think she did. And then I was just like, well, if you're going to reach out again, you might as well come to a race.
Yeah.
And have a beer with me. So I told her. So she came, got a beer, and made her friend drink it because she doesn't drink beer.
Oh.
But that night, we went out. I went out with some of the drivers, and she followed me to the bar. I didn't know she was there, but I was sitting at a table, and all of a sudden a Fireball and a Budweiser appeared in front of me, which was my 2 favorite drinks. And but no one there to say that they bought them for me. But it was her, because another one came about an hour later, and I knew it was her. So it was at that point where she followed me to the bar like a stalker and bought me drinks without saying hi. Like, that's when I was like, all right, she's pretty cool. So I went up and started talking to her, and we went to Wade Nygaard's house after the bar, I think. And then I went and hung out with Jordan Adams, and she came back to my house that night, and the rest is history.
Wow.
So,
She
yeah.
did reply saying, "Sugar mama." That's funny because you basically had 2 strikes against you. You're finally getting to meet her, and the first thing you say to her, is Lauren Langer your dad? Okay, there's strike 1. Second strike, you buy her a beer. She doesn't drink beer.
Yeah.
Dude, you were 0-2 there.
And then she bought me 4 drinks that night, and I didn't buy her anything. So.
She still loves you, man.
Yeah, no, I knew pretty much right away, I'd say. I think it only took a month before I asked her to be my girlfriend, which was super early, but she agreed, and like it was probably 6 months later where I was like, yeah, this could go a while.
Yeah. She growed you up a little bit, if you know what I mean.
I'd say we grew.
She
grew
grounded
each
you a
other.
little bit more, I think.
Yeah, I think I was on the right path. She just accelerated the process.
Sure.
A reason for me to stay home and be an adult, I
Mm-hmm.
guess, versus hanging out and doing kid things with my friends.
Yeah.
You know.
And you can still do that. I mean,
I
she
still
seems like
can.
she's pretty easygoing.
It's just I had someone else to enjoy my time with who was a little more mature than most of my friends.
Yeah.
So. And you know what
You
they
nailed
say,
it, huh?
You kind of turn into who you hang out with. So
Okay.
she's a good person to hang out with. So.
Absolutely. Wedding date's coming up.
Next month, about a month out. So that's exciting. You're doing the job for us.
Yeah, I'm officiating. How about that?
I'm sure you're really excited.
I am. I actually am. I've only done one so far, and I've got a couple more coming up, including you guys. And I remember when she talked to me at the racetrack, because she talks to me all the time about 50-50 or whatever. And she says, "Hey, I need to ask you something." I'm like, "Okay, what?" And she sprung that on me, and I about pooped my pants. I'm like, I almost forgot that I was ordained, and I'm like, wow. And I looked at my wife, and I go, "Did you hear that?" And she's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, I think I can. I had to go look to make sure I was going to be, but I am super stoked about that. To me, it's an honor. I'm hollering about you all the time on the racetrack, doing the announcing and all that kind of stuff. But to do this to me is an honor, and man, I think that is so cool, and I appreciate you guys asking me. John, you have to officiate it like you're announcing the races. I would have to ask Bryce that
I was
one.
just thinking, how does one even do that, though?
Yeah.
Like,
And here comes Bryce out of turn 4.
I was thinking of it for my kind of thing. I was just like, all right, in or out, make it obvious, or whatever, that kind of thing. But like,
In or out, make it obvious. That's for after the wedding, Steven.
no, I
I
meant
think he meant the ring.
I meant up front in front of every. Don't do that to me. That's not what I meant.
I
your mind
know,
out of
but
the gutter.
I couldn't help it. Get your mind out of the gutter.
That's the jokes our neighbor tells me, guys.
There you go. There you go. I've got my victory lane speech ready, Bryce says. I never thought about that.
Yeah, that's the hard part for me. We're doing like normal wedding vows like
Mm-hmm.
you're supposed to, and I'm not good at homework, so
Okay.
I'm sure it'll be a last minute the night before. I'll ask Bryce, can you give me an idea what you wrote about me so I know what to
She says, "I'm listening." Mike, I grew up going to school with Bryce, and I'm so happy to see that she found for her
that's cool.
special someone.
Lauren Langerud's listening.
Oh, all right. I'm listening too. Freaking John.
Now I'm instantly more nervous than I was before.
Steven's got a crush on Lauren, so
Yeah, maybe.
We need to get him on the show.
yeah, I should have asked him
Is
to come.
there?
That'd
Yeah, I
been a good
mean,
one.
should really.
We'd have a lot to talk about. That's for sure. Are you nervous about how old are you? First off,
26.
okay. I actually waited till I was 36 because I grew up watching horrible marriage. My mom and dad and everything, and I waited until I found the right person, and I'm glad I waited. But are you nervous? Are you just glad it's going to be done? Or is the excitement getting there? Or how do you feel about it? Because like you said, it's still a little ways away, but
I'm not nervous at all yet. I don't really know how to feel about it because I never know how I'm gonna feel about something until I'm there, kind of. But I'm
Sure,
I'm
sure.
either gonna be like, this is awesome, let's party, or like, can we get this over with so we can go home and take a nap type deal. I'm excited to marry her. I think it's gonna be a great choice for me and a great life for the both of us. But I'm
Absolutely.
really excited to party. Just hope I'm not tired and grumpy on that day, but we'll have to see what happens when I wake up that day.
Don't be tired and grumpy. Can't wait to celebrate with him, Nick Curtis. That's going to be awesome. People that help you out on this 8H team, let's give them a shout out. Who's helping you and your sponsors and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, I suppose we'll start with Bryce since we're already talking about her. She just helped me clean out the trailer the last 2 nights. On Tuesday, we got everything taken out of there, and then last night we deep cleaned it, so thanks, babe. She does that every week. She cleans the trailer and helps me with whatever I need. But I got to thank Steve Lemoyne and John Tibitowski for continually letting me do this. It's on their dime for the most part. So thank them and all my crew guys, Sean Lyons, Brian DeHealy, Eric Johnson, Tyler Goulet, all of the racing wives, all of their girlfriends or wives, Jeff Liebrick, who am I forgetting down there? Conrad, gosh, I'm forgetting someone. I'll get back to that, but all of them, all my family and friends, all the guys in my wedding are all guys that have supported me at the racetrack. That's kind of who I picked, so I picked them to be my, whatever, what do you call that?
Groomsmen.
Groomsmen,
Yep,
yeah,
yep,
because
yep.
they've always supported me.
Sure.
They all come to pretty much every race, and I just want to shout them out for that because it's hard to find real friends like that who will show up for something because their friend has a passion for it.
The good or the bad.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And most of them will tell me how it is. They'll tell me you did great, or they'll tell me why'd you suck so bad. And
Right.
I love people like that because it does get really old. I know it's just people being nice and they think I'm
Sugarcoating,
good,
yeah.
but it gets old to hear great job all the time. You know? But thank them. I know I said family, but my grandma Rita, my aunt Rhonda, Graham, my aunt Tracy, my grandma Boaz, all my little nieces, or my nephew and my little cousins, they all them that I mentioned come to every race. Brian and Anna Selly and all construction crew come to every race. Tyler Meyer and Chris. Just trying to think of everyone that supports me every night, and there's a lot of them. I know I'm forgetting a bunch, but it's so fun to win and see a group of 15 close family and friends who are ready to enjoy the night with me. So yeah,
Well,
I could go on forever, and it gets emotional. Honestly, it's just so cool.
Sure. You can see, when you're pulling into Victory Lane, you can see the mass of people waiting for that gate to open to go flood and hopefully get in on the picture. But how about your sponsors? And I know you were worried about this because you've got a lot of them. Oh, look at that. There we go.
I don't want that. I don't like to cheat. Just tell me if I miss one.
By the way, Marie Stewart says you are so genuine. Congratulations, Jade and Bryce Langerud. All right. Sponsors.
All right. All Construction and Ewing Oil. Sletton Customs, Denny's Tavern. New one this year, Pluto's, and I'm really hoping they'll be back on board next year because I think that's a really cool sponsor. Kelly's Bar, Johnny's Lounge, Precise Mechanical Insulation, Hastings Heating and Cooling, Dannon's On-Site Service, Triangle Coach Service, East and West Excavating, Development Homes Gaming, High Caliber Design, Tom Sand Machine, Forks Finest Auto Body, Fabricators Unlimited, Amsoil, the Beehive of Reynolds. How many more do I got?
I think just one.
Give me a second here.
Think wing.
Oh, Reed Hammer Masonry. That one's a tough one. I always forget one.
Think wing.
Yeah.
Where did that come out of from wing?
It's on the side of the wing right by
Okay.
below Walt Construction.
Okay. Man, you do know your stuff. Boy, I tell you what, I know you got a shop party coming up on Saturday to celebrate a good way for you and your crew and your family and your friends to celebrate a hard year because, like you said, when it's race season, everything else is kind of a blur.
Yeah.
If you could work, like you said, if you could be in the race shop 24/7, I have no doubt you would be. I know you still have to pay bills. You still got to go to work occasionally, but once it's done, it was so weird because this year, I'm usually by the time racing's done, and I've said this a dozen times now to people, when the season's done, I'm done. I mean, I've especially because we go to the sites to 1 week. Well, this year it was the sites week off because of the rain out. I got to get some go-kart racing in, which kind of made up for it, and then another week. But this year, you know, in years past, now like tomorrow night, I'm glad it's done. I needed a break. By next Friday, it's going to be 80 degrees, and I'm going to be going, God, we should still be racing. This year, I didn't get the burnout. I want to keep racing. Do you feel at the end of the year, it's like, damn, we just needed this to be done. Time to regroup, time to recharge, time to focus on other things and get ready for next year?
I'm really excited for next year. So I wanted the year to be done because we were planning for next year. We've been saving money all summer, skimping by to have an awesome year next year. But no, I want to keep racing so bad, especially now that it's over. Every year I get less burnt out. I feel like I'm just getting more and more used to it, or maybe I'm starting to love it more. But I used to get really burnt out in the last 2 years. I haven't at all.
Yeah. Isn't that something? Are we still meeting up for beers around 4 at the Drum tomorrow? What's going on tomorrow? We possibly could be doing that, Nick. That's kind of our little deal on the way to the track on Fridays.
Nick Curtis can be your bull ring boy.
Boy. The way I don't know then if he
Has he even been a guest yet?
I don't know if he has been.
I should have brought him. There's so many people I should.
What's that, Dale?
Nick was on the 4-year anniversary show.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, when we were
Right.
At the track? Was that the one at
But
the
not
track?
but not here though.
Not underneath.
Right.
No, that's right. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna try to do that. I got to see what I got going on
I
tomorrow.
still
It seems
think
to
him
me.
and Steve Josie would be a good show.
That would be. That would be.
It'd take some arm twisting to get Steve to do it.
The record guys, though, that'd be good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we've had guys like that on before, and those are usually the shows we'll do in the winter. The people behind the scenes, and that's one thing. And I'm not knocking any other podcasts or shows out there about dirt car racing, but it ain't always about just the guy in the seat. There's so much more to making it a Friday night go, or a Saturday or Sunday or whatever night you're racing. And it's nice to get everybody who deserves a shout out for putting on the show, give them all that chance. And that's why in the winter we'll try to do that along with some snurdy stuff for snowmobile racing. But
You could get like 17 moochers in here.
Oh, that would be another good. Yeah. At least a couple of
the
them. right?
moocher,
Like,
the moocher
yeah.
edition.
They make that racetrack run in my mind. They have since I was a baby. So.
Yeah, they've been there for a long time.
Before me even.
Yeah,
So-
wow. I go through racing withdrawal over the winter. Ronna Phelps Anderson. We're going to get ready to wrap it up here. Anything you want to leave the show with today? And again, thank you for coming in, man.
Two more fans I want to shout out: Jared Lumbee and his kids, Will and Gary, and then Chubba and his son. I'd say those are my two number one race fans, and then Todd and little Todd if they're listening. Just trying to. That's about it, I think, for right now. But I got to shout them out because those are some families that are in my pit area every week and have been for years. So.
How about you, Mr. Lewis?
I'll just give Mike a shout out. I've been working all week, getting some stuff done and whatever. Speedway shots. If you're a River Cities, Red River Valley Speedway or Norman County guy, all our stuff is edited and ready to go on the website. And check us out and be thinking about us this off season. And yeah, that's pretty much just my shameless plug.
All right. Well, I'm not sure if I'll be here next Thursday, but you will, along with Dale, and I'm leaving the show in very good hands. I tell you what, one more time before we get out of here, Wayne Anderson Cup champ, River City Speedway, first time ever track champion for this guy, and 3-time NOSA champion, 2020, 2023, and 2024, back-to-back NOSA champions. Drives the 8H, Jade Hastings, and a big round of applause for him. And he's getting married at the end of next month. Thank you, dude. Thank you so much for coming in. And you know what? We need to get your soon-to-be wife on the show again, too, when we do the Racer's Wives. It won't be a Racer Girlfriend edition this time. We can do the Racer Wives things. And
do wife and father-in-law.
That would be, just do the whole show without him.
I'll just come sit in the background and drink beer.
Hey, there you
And then I have to be on that show, obviously, because reasons.
Well,
so.
yeah, and
You need a co-host.
well, we need a co-host, so there you go. Steve Stephen Lewis, the time change is killing me. Oh, Chad, he's already out there. Oh, man, we miss you, brother. All right.
Missed that bald head.
Yeah. Wow. Stephen Lewis, thank you, man. Jade Hastings, thank you and good luck. Congratulations on the wedding coming up. Man, I tell you what, you got a good one in Bryce. We are so looking forward to next season. I can't wait to see what the 8H team brings.
Thank you.
All right, there you go. Again, thanks to these guys for coming on Dirty Thursday today, brought to you by Rumors Sports Bar and Casino right here in the middle of downtown Grand Forks. Well, not downtown, middle of Grand Forks, Grand Cities Mall. Tell you what, you want to go watch UND Homecoming? Football team right now, ranked number 9 in the nation. Jump on the bus at Rumors. You go get yourself a good... Well, they got $1.50 tacos on Saturday. Get yourself some grub, jump on the bus, go watch the Fighting Hawks play, come back and have some more, all right? They're open from 11 a.m. to 2 a.m., 7 days a week. Go play bingo, go eat food, go drink out of the world-famous beer tower. You will absolutely love Rumors Sports Bar and Casino in the Grand Cities Mall. All right, big screens and TV streams on at 1 o'clock today. Brew Brothers at 9 tonight. I'll catch you tomorrow morning. Have yourself a great day, everybody. And remember to like, share, tag, and follow us. Hit that notification bell on your smartphone. We know the Forks are awesome. Grand Forks' best source. But we gave the Forks an identity again.